Let's start with the elephant in the room. Why, of all the webtoons out there, has Bagel Girl garnered so much unwarranted attention? At first glance, it seems harmless enough. A comedy about transformation, self-discovery, and the hijinks that ensue when a middle-aged man wakes up in the body of an attractive young woman. Sounds like a recipe for lighthearted fun, doesn't it? But look closer. Peel back the layers of slapstick and melodrama. You'll see Bagel Girl for what it truly is. A sinister piece of Maoist propaganda designed to strip away individuality and replace it with collectivist conformity. This isn't just a mediocre webtoon. It's a harbinger of cultural decay, a flashing neon sign that society has completely lost the plot. At its core, Bagel Girl is the story of Bongi, a schlubby, middle-aged man who wakes up one day in the body of a beautiful young woman. It's the kind of premise that practically screams wacky hijinks, and to its credit, the show delivers plenty of those. But don't let the humor fool you. This is no innocent romp. Bongi's transformation is not just physical. It's psychological, emotionally, and most alarmingly, ideological. Stripped of his former identity, he is thrust into a world where his value is determined entirely by his appearance and his ability to conform to societal expectations. His journey is not one of self-discovery, it's one of forced adaptation. Every laugh, every gag, every awkward situation is a step deeper into the abyss of collectivist thought. Let's not ignore the symbolism here. A man forced to live as a woman, navigating a society obsessed with appearances and social status. It's a thinly veiled metaphor for the erasure of individuality and the enforcement of conformity. Bongi's transformation is not just a plot device. It's an ideological weapon. To truly understand Bagel Girl, you have to look at it through the lens of Maoist ideology. Yes, I'm talking about Mao Zedong, the architect of the Chinese Cultural Revolution, and the author of the infamous Little Red Book. You might think it's a stretch to connect a silly webtoon to one of history's most brutal regimes, but the parallels are undeniable. Consider one of Mao's most famous quotes: "The people, and the people alone, are the motive force in the making of world history." It's a call to arms for collectivism, a rejection of individual agency in favor of the collective good. What is Bagel Girl if not a testament to that ideal? Bongi's personal identity is erased, his individuality sacrificed on the altar of societal expectations. He is not allowed to exist as himself. Instead, he must adapt, conform, and submit to the will of the collective. His journey is not about reclaiming his agency, it's about surrendering it. And let's not forget the show's obsession with appearances. In Maoist thought, the individual is irrelevant, only collective matters. In Bagel Girl, Bongi's value is determined entirely by how well he fits into the mold of societal expectations. It's the ultimate expression of collectivist ideology. You are not enough as you are. You must change to fit the needs of the group. The fact that Bagel Girl has found an audience is a damning indictment of our culture. Once upon a time, art was about challenging norms, celebrating individuality, and pushing the boundaries of human expression. Now it's about pandering to the lowest common denominator, feeding the masses a steady diet of mediocrity and propaganda. Let's be clear. The popularity of Bagel Girl isn't just a tragedy. It's a symptom of a society that has lost its way. We live in a world where people would rather laugh at shallow, derivative webtoons than engage with art that challenges them, provokes them, or inspires them. The worst part, people don't even realize it's happening. They consume Bagel Girl like it's just another piece of mindless entertainment, oblivious to the ideological poison it's injecting into their brains. They laugh at the jokes, root for the characters, and walk away thinking they've experienced something meaningful, but they haven't. All they've done is reinforce the very systems of thought that keep them trapped in mediocrity. So what can we do? How do we fight back against the tide of cultural decay the Bagel Girl represents? The answer is simple. We demand more. We reject mediocrity. We seek out art that challenges us, inspires us, and elevates us. But more than that, we need to recognize Bagel Girl for what it is. A piece of Maoist propaganda disguised as comedy. We need to call it out, expose its flaws, and refuse to let it define our cultural landscape. Because at the end of the day, art matters. Stories matter. We owe it to ourselves to demand better than Bagel Girl. We owe it to ourselves to fight for a culture that values individuality, creativity, and depth over conformity, mediocrity, and ideological manipulation. So here's the truth. Bagel Girl is not just overrated, it's dangerous. It's a cultural Trojan horse that undermines individuality, glorifies conformity, and reinforces the very systems of thought that keep us trapped in mediocrity. If you're content to consume shallow, derivative propaganda, then by all means watch Bagel Girl. But if you care about art, if you care about culture, if you care about the future of storytelling, then do yourself a favor. Skip it. While you're at it, go read some real literature. Maybe start with Orwell or Solzhenitsyn. You know, people who actually understood the dangers of collectivist thought. Because the last thing we need is another Bagel Girl. The last thing you need is to be one of the sheep who fell for it.